Wait, you're a vampire? Yes, I am. And you shall be too. We're off the rails here, folks, if we were ever on them to begin with. Sometimes you read something and you need to take a minute. Do you like it? Do you not? Bit of both? Probably a bit of both. We've been covering DC versus vampires issue by issue here on Casually Comics. Because we can, and it's fun. It's a journey that we're on together. Issue 4 ended with the League showing up in the Batcave to confront Bruce, who vampire Wonder Woman, who was far too easily turned by overly attractive vampire Hal Jordan, had told the League had killed Barry Allen, the Flash. Which they believe because it's Wonder Woman. That's why Hal had to turn her, for the truth cred. And so he could give an inappropriate "we're the same, you and I" speech. It's gonna haunt me forever. We're the same. You're a lasso, my ring. Ollie was also in the cave because, like Batman, he had been investigating the vampire infestation, and he thought that Batman had been turned because, well, it's just a common headcanon that Batman would be a vampire, I guess also in universe. So he went to try to kill him and failed, because of course he did. And then they teamed up just in time for the League to show up, which is not where issue 5 opens. I'm Sasha, and if you thought that that intro was slightly awkward, well then get ready for this issue. Strap in, it's gonna be exciting. DC vs. Vampires is a 12-issue maxi series that is now also getting some spin-offs a la Deceased, such as a Vampire Hunter one-shot with Damian. So if you ever wanted a story where Damian is Buffy, DC's got you covered. This series is written by Matthew Rosenberg and James Tynion IV. Usually all the art duties are handled by Otto Schmidt, but not today, because, well, it's a lot. This time he's joined by Simone, who we last saw on this channel doing the Harley Quinn Future State books. They both have cool and distinct styles, which in no way match. So get excited for dissonance. We open on a disturbing warehouse in Gotham City. Adding the adjective disturbing seems a bit redundant when talking about Gotham, but go on. It's Task Force X, which when I first started reading and I saw them, I had this moment of panic where I was worried it was gonna become a Task Force Z crossover because I didn't clue in that it was different letters right away. Because Rosenberg is writing that as well, and with how off the rails the series has been, it could happen. Thankfully, that was not the case, because this is convoluted enough. Everyone in the warehouse is dead, but forget that. Bruce and Ollie in the League. What's the plan here, Batman? Shoot arrows. I was hoping for something that didn't sound like I came up with it. Bruce really should have a better plan. Not because he's Batman, because he's not uber prep Batman in this, but because he knows about the vampires. And last issue it showed that he had a contingency plan for if somebody entered the cave, and he assumed it was a vampire because he went straight for the stake. Why not have something like fill the sprinkler systems with holy water? He did that upstairs in the manor, and then he just had people showering in it and stuff to make sure. Turn on the sprinklers and then die and Hal explode. Boom, done. Be like, there, I told you, now clean my cave. I'm giving Alfred the night off. He already told the Bat family to just kill vampires because they're already dead, and asked Ollie if he could handle killing someone close to him. So he's prepared to kill. Diana tells Batman that what he did to Barry was wrong as she fights him fangs out, but she knows that he didn't. So at first it appears that Hal hypnotized her, but no, this appears to be a show for the League because they don't know, even though her fangs are just out there, because no, the rest of the League is not turned at this moment. I mean, some people have super speed and super hearing. Clark, stop daydreaming and pay attention. Martian Manhunter is a telepath. He's really falling down the job. Enough of that. Here's awkward Oliver Queen. We can help you, Ollie. Yeah, help me become a freak like you. Wait, I mean the vampire thing, not the cyborg thing. You know I've always been cool with that. Nice. Now tell him how some of your best friends are cyborgs. Clark is really lovingly restraining Batman's wrists in these panels. Too bad Batman has kryptonite in his teeth, a false kryptonite tooth. Amazing. Meanwhile, at the disturbing warehouse, which feels like it's happening in another universe because of the art shift, it looks like the Joker has gone full vampire, and he's loving it, killing indiscriminately, which is the norm for the vampires in this series. 10 out of 10 would turn again. Harley's contribution to this will not be to use her superior knowledge of the Joker's habits, having been so close to him for so long, in a way which until recently, time of recording, was utterly unique to her. It will instead be to make quirky quips, because she is in full, did you know that Harley can be quirky and random mode in this story so far. Black Spider is killed by a compromised King Shark, and then they have to fight some vampires, and Deadshot looks so cool in this style. Meanwhile, they've called a ceasefire in the Batcave, because when someone uses kryptonite, that's a timeout. Cyborg is insistent they can cure Batman, it's just a blood sickness. Sure, he killed Barry, but it's fine. They have so many other flashes, no one will even notice. I didn't kill Barry, Hal did. I wish I could believe you, but I've seen the evidence. I would like to see the evidence. Can I see the evidence, please? Batman says he has his own evidence on his computer. Hal says, why would anybody believe that? Because Batman could just fake files, but nobody listens to Hal. You see, he really did need to turn Diana. So Batman tells Cyborg to jack in. He can check the files himself, but Psyche shuts him down. And the power throughout Gotham. In a beautiful shot of Nightwing diving off a building, he says the whole city lost power. Come out and let us help you. Hal was prepared for many things, but not for Batman to cover him in yellow powder. He just coats him in some nice silica, all All-Star Batman and Robin style. Hilarious, but wait, hold up. That means that Hal has his yellow weakness because Batman then says that will neutralize him. But what other rules are in play if that's in play? The ring's rules have shifted so much. The yellow weakness was overcome years ago. So if that's back, does that mean that his ring should have left him when he died? Because that's a thing. Or that his ring should have left him when he started killing? Because they weren't authorized to kill for a point, then they were, and then what are we doing? Why would Hal Jordan do this? Now there's so many more questions. Just you could cover him in yellow powder. Worth it. Bruce tells Ollie to shoot his shot, which he does, but he misses. Because he can't kill Hal. If he kills Hal, who will he call a Nazi? Hawkman. Hawkman is who will call a Nazi. Batman tells him to do it again and actually kill him this time, but Martian Manhunter decides maybe he should actually do something and stops the arrow before it can hit Hal. Use your powers, John. Like any of them. Using fire, Batman forces John into a teleporter and teleports him away, then breaks the teleporter so he can't come back. Why didn't we use it to get out of here? No smart questions allowed, Ollie. Go back to not shooting Hal. Over at the warehouse, Batgirl has shown up to look amazing and have Harley Quinn tell her that dinosaurs are real. Harley doesn't have to have lions. They're gonna be like that. Humor is subjective. I know that some people really enjoyed that exchange. Everyone is down for the count in the cave. I'm not sure why Hal is. Yes, he's covered in yellow powder, but that just means he can't use his ring. Can't he still fight with his vampiric abilities? We saw that they could turn into bats and the like, so he should still have some speed and strength. He just can't do constructs, you know? But he took an arrow to the shoulder, so I guess he's done. Also, Superman's still down for that one blast of kryptonite. Maybe he's just laying there. He doesn't want to be involved in anything. He's like, forget it. Wake me up when I'm Superman again in main continuity. So it's Ollie and Bruce versus Vampire Wonder Woman. You're a good friend, and you'd have been an amazing vampire. Oof, friend zoned. He was a pretty cool vampire, though. Batman throws holy water at her because he had some in his utility belt. Wait, you're a vampire? Yes, I am. And you shall be too. Did Hal teach her that all vampire turnings need to be sexual? Good for him. Keep it consistent. Bruce, what do we do? You got files on all of us. What's Diana's weakness? Her friends. Is it the... And then the Robins, Damian and Tim, ride into Diana on their motorcycle. Hey, Wonder Woman. Hey, like her motorcycle. You boys just made a horrible mistake. Shut the f up, Diana. Is this the greatest comic of all time? Or the worst? Both. So they escape, they blow it all up. I sure hope Alfred got out because we saw him walking around earlier. And they got away. Master will not be pleased. Nice of you to join us, Hal. The cover lied hard about how much fighting Batman you'd be doing. And then they go over to Clark, who's just coming to. Will he become a vampire? Stay tuned to find out. We did a video on that question focusing on that one comic where it was shown that he was a solar battery so a vampire would explode, even though that has not happened to other vampires since, and you could make counter arguments to that if you wanted to. We'll see where this series goes because it does what it wants. Batman said he figured they couldn't turn John because he's an alien, so no Martian vampires? Clark's an alien too, so does that logic also apply to him? If he does get turned into a vampire, that means he can't go out into the sun, so he won't be as powerful. But then would the vampire strength that he would get compensate for that? Plus you'd still have all the access that Superman has to things, so it could be worth it from other levels, not just his brute strength. I mean, in this one breath of kryptonite took him out, but how much kryptonite does or does not affect Clark varies wildly. This series is a lot of a lot. What a ride. It's amazing and frustrating at the same time. This issue just veers so hard. It seems like it's going one way, you're setting up all of these kind of like little interpersonal, like, ooh, people are playing chess, but nope, bombastic action. The rationales behind why people do or don't do things vary from smart to incredibly poorly thought out. Power sets and the rules surrounding them, forget it, just cover Hal in yellow powder. Ollie, get the mustard arrow. Now I just want a scene where Hal has to fight somebody in a kitchen and they're just throwing yellow food at him. In all seriousness, the inclusion of Task Force X felt jarring, though that may have been because of the different art style, which was utilized for all scenes not revolving around the cave fight with one exception. The prior issue had established things with a magic users, but it looks like we're bringing in more and more groups per issue. But it did feel a little bit like Task Force X was included because the Suicide Squad. Care about the Suicide Squad, DC wants you to. Miles will vary on how disconnected these swaps in art style will make this issue feel for you. Some will barely notice or embrace it. Others will find themselves jolting from scene to scene. The pacing of the main fight itself in the Batcave felt awkward, and it took a moment to place exactly who knew what, and then to buy into them all just accepting what was happening like they did. I'm glad I stressed before because the level of suspension needed was ludicrous. But for as silly as this series can get, it's fun if you can embrace it for what it is. If you can accept it on its own mad terms. The Robins driving into Diana on a motorcycle. It just feels like this book is having fun with the concept and not taking itself too seriously, which can make it quite an enjoyable read. Like watching a B movie or a horror movie or something where you're just yelling at the screen because why are any of the characters doing anything, but at the same time you're rooting for them. Come on, come out of it, even though you know they're not going to because look at their choices. How fun would it be to see this adapted, but change, nothing. No changes. I want to see that roundhouse kick Black Canary gives Damien on screen. No bizarre different people did it, like the Riddler Hush style. No, unless the Riddler did do it, then keep that. So are you enjoying this, or was it too much? Stop the ride, you want to get off. How do you think the fight should have gone down? What food in your kitchen would you throw at Hal Jordan? Tell me things down below. While you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking this time today spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.